When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. Everyone wins.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
'24 Curl Sask mixed doubles provincial final here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. You see that great shot of some of the hardware the winning team will walk out of this curling rink with. You got the green jackets and that elusive heart that we all play for and cherish so much. My name is Chris Heichert. Alongside me is Trevor, the shooter bot Bothrill. Will be on the call for this juggernaut of a heavyweight tilt. Welcome, Trevor.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good night from whoever's watching, from wherever you're watching from.
That's right. We got in this heavyweight tilt, you have Nancy Martin and Steve Laycock. They won the A event, have not yet to lose a game in this competition so far, and they will be up against a very hot, and I mean that more ways than one, Christie Gamble. And Dustin, the Duke of Port Kalthoff, they are getting on a little bit of a roll here in Swift Current, and we are in for a treat this afternoon. I promise you that.
Well, maybe let's update for the fine folks at home how each team got here. As you mentioned, Chris, the Martin Laycock team won 4 in a row to qualify early. They beat Team Hogan Bride 7-3, and they beat this very same Campbell Kalthoff team 12-9, and they beat Barbara Height 5-4, and then the Kleider team 7-5 to qualify early with 4 wins.
That's right. They took the easy route for sure by qualifying on Friday. That gave them all day Saturday off.
And the Gamble Kalthoff team had to take a longer road to get there. They had to play an extra 3 games, but they're getting hot, as they say, at the right time. They won. They opened the Bondsfield up with a win against Ingram Tenachuk 9-6, and then, as I mentioned, they lost to Martin Laycock 9-12, and then they went on a 5-game winning streak, which included teams like Garbarak and Schleider, Hogue, Bryden, Just Garreau, the team of Bukarak, and the team of Springer that they beat just earlier this morning in the semifinals.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the teams are ready to go. So with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Well said, Chris. Christie Gamble is going to open it up here in the first end of the provincial mixed doubles provincials from Swift Current, Saskatchewan in the southwest of the province.
Christie looking to play that intern freeze right out of the gate. Slips a little heavy, rolls off. Steve Laycock looking like he is going to tell Nancy to put one top forefoot and take control of this end right out of the gate with the hammer in the first end.
I just wonder what your school of thought is, Chris. You know, they say that sometimes it's better to keep playing and not have rested for so long like the team of Martin Laycock have. where do you fall on that? Like, would you rather be playing right up to the final or get a whole day off?
Excellent question. You know, over a couple cold pops upstairs, we had this discussion. You know, it's nice to get on the roll, start winning, start playing, start getting in that groove, coming through the B or the C event. But the rest is also nice too. And definitely for an old feller like Stevie Layhorn there, it's nice to get some rest as well. Um, but the key is trying to find a way to ensure that you can remain sharp come Sunday curling. So the big part about winning early is coming out of the A event, you typically get rest, and what you get is the choice of hammer or rocks throughout the playoffs. And in an 8-end game, the hammer is so important. Starting with the hammer is definitely an advantage, and I don't think you'd turn that down for anything.
Just a reminder to the folks watching at home, if you're on the Curling Zone YouTube page, if you want to drop us a comment, we'll be happy to engage with you there.
We are pushing this feed out to several platforms. The Curl Sask YouTube channel, this is being pushed to them, and they are airing this. We also have it on the Curling Zone's YouTube channel as well, so you can find the game there. Last but not least, the Swift Current Curling Club and their YouTube platform. So several different ways that you can log on and watch the curling going on inside the Swift Current Curling Club.
Steve decides that he's not liking the setup there in the forefoot, so he decides to remove that guard and get a better path to the forefoot.
This mixed double is certainly an exciting game. It's fast. There's lots of rocks in play, and not much time, so it's quite exciting. And we're always in for a treat with great big shots being made and lots of big ends scored.
And that explains a lot about the popularity of the mixed doubles game and why it's exploded so much, is that the point swings, the momentum swings are even larger than the four-person game. Am I right?
And that's for sure. And you know, with the popularity of it, it recently became an Olympic sport as well. So you really see this game growing, not only in Canada, but internationally as well, with some very strong international mixed doubles teams. So it's great. It's great to learn the game, and I think you're going to see a lot more of this in curling as we go into the future.
I want to give a little shout out to producer James, who's pushing our buttons this afternoon. I mean, pushing the buttons to make this broadcast happen.
That is right. It takes a full team to bring this curling to you folks right inside your living rooms. Just doesn't happen like that. So a shout out to everybody behind the scenes making this happen here for us as we watch the provincial final here in Saskatchewan.
It's hard not to get distracted when you see the hardware sitting right in the next sheet over, isn't it?
You know, Shooter, I've been fortunate enough to fluke my way into a few of these games over the years. And when those hearts and those green jackets are sitting out on the table, a mere couple feet away from where you're playing, it's hard not to notice them. I was chatting with Nancy Martin, who's been in several provincial finals, chatting with her just before the game, and she was saying how many times, yeah, you certainly noticed them there and they give you butterflies. And she said for the first time ever this year, when she was in the provincial women's final, she didn't even realize the trophy or the jackets were out there until after the game. That's typically a good thing, meaning you're zoned and locked right in on the job that you need to do.
And as you mentioned, Nancy was in the provincial final this year. She was in the provincial women's final up in Tisdale, the four-person game, and unfortunately came up short there, but I'm sure she'd like to get a little redemption in today's provincial final.
Well, the Dukabor with a beautiful shot there. Line one in the back of the forefoot without hammer here. Completely controlling that intern side of the sheet. Forcing old Steve-O to play the out-turn draw here in the first end.
And you played with Stephen Laycock there. What does he prefer? Does he prefer out-turn draw or in-turn draw?
You know, Steve, for a couple decades now, has been one of Saskatchewan's top male curlers. Steve's a pretty solid curler all around. Not too many weaknesses in his game. He's slightly follically challenged. That may be one of his weaknesses, but luckily for him, it doesn't affect him out on the ice. I think you're going to see a good game out of him here today.
Well, Steve, unfortunately, looks like he's curling a bit too much. It's going to rack on the top red one.
Yeah, that rock was a little bit of a lay brick, if I might say. He was wanting to get around that, and it just curled a little too hard for him. This opens the door for the Duke here, and Christie gambled to possibly tap this yellow rock back and lie two without the hammer here in the first end.
Do you think Steve just got caught up in a fresh path out there where there's been no rock so far?
You know, great question. They've had a pretty good handle on this ice all week. It's been quite consistent. But that one definitely did seem to surprise him, getting a little extra curl. Before Christie throws this shot, as you said, Shooter, the chat is open on the Curling Zone's Curling Zone platform. Please reach out to us. Let us know where you're watching from and say hi. I'd like to give a shout out to Rick Edwards from Brantford, Ontario. Teresa from down in Montana. She's back for another game. The Lang clan is always watching curling, crushing a few Pilsners. It's a family tradition while they watch curling. They've tuned in. And then Cole, the Ukrainian, Tenatuik. What a nice shot by Christie Gamble there, tapping that to the top of the button. And yellow line 2 here.
So it looks like Nancy can either throw a in-turn draw to the 4-foot, or is she looking at a in-off as well?
Well, it ain't an easy in-off, and even if you make it, it's still a guess whether that rock's going to come upwards and get you shot rock. The intern has backing. You can either make the intern draw for 1, come to the backing and only give up 1. Both situations, I think Laycock and Nancy would take, but I believe they're electing to play that in-off. Am I correct?
I'm not sure for 100% sure because, of course, we don't have microphones on the players, but they got the phantom broom down, I guess, so we'll see what the shot is.
Well, I'm quite certain she'll hit the broom. How's that?
Yes, Nancy is a really seasoned curler, and yes, it looks like they are doing the in-off.
Well, Stevie's on and off this one, typically a good sign. Needs to curl up a hair. And that was a disaster, folks. It didn't quite curl up enough, and that was the risk the Laycock team took there by playing that shot. It will be a steal of 2 for Christie Gamble and Dusty the Duke of Kalthoff here in the first end of the provincial final. Ladies and gentlemen, go top up your beverages. We're in for a treat here in the second end. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Hi there, Jim Hale for S3 Air Systems. Today we're going to talk about their new product, UFO Aeration.
Here you can see the completed durable powder-coated steel frame construction and the large mega louver design that allows 4 times more airflow than traditional steel louver designs.
Here I'm just bolting the stage halves together. You can see how the components lock together with just a counterclockwise twist for different aeration needs where you can add and remove stages. Just remember that once there's grain in the bin, you can't change how many stages are in it. Please empty the bin before you change the number of stages.
Folks, we are back. Second end action. It was a steal of 2 for Dustin Kalthoff and Christie Gamble in the first end of this provincial final.
I want to say we got some shoutouts on the Curling Zone chat here. We got Nathan Woosley, who's watching from Massachusetts, and Michelle Lang, who's saying we call her Sissy, and she'll love if she mentioned that. Well, we just mentioned it.
Well, she might regret you guys passing along that, because as many of you have tuned in know, we have had nice little nicknames for all our competitors curling this week. And I have been searching for one for Christie Gamble, but Sissy works excellent. Sissy and the Duke in second end action here, up 2-0 against Old Layhorn and Nancy Martin.
Chris, I wanted to ask you, like, you see a lot on the mixed doubles teams where the guy throws the middle 3 rocks and the women throw the first and last rocks. Why do you think that is? What's the strategy about that? Do you have a theory?
You know what? It would only be a guess, having never really played the mixed doubles myself. Typically, the male are a little bit stronger sweepers. So having them throw the 3, they are easily to jump up and sweep their 3. That might just be a theory. But you know what? I think you've seen all types of different combinations of first and last rock throwers. So I'm not exactly sure what the strategy is there. All I do know is we have been treated to excellent shot making by both genders all weekend in Swift Current here.
So I want to mention these two teams are playing off for a chance to go to the Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. It's going to be held March 17th to the 22nd at the Aitken University Center, the University of New Brunswick, and the Capital Winter Club in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Have you ever been to New Brunswick, Chris?
Yes, sir. I have been to that city who you can't pronounce. Do you want one more time trying to pronounce it?
Yes, please. It's the Aitken University Center, the Capital Winter, in Fredericton.
You know, I'm not going to put you through any more pain. Our viewers have heard enough. Fredericton, New Brunswick, and yes, I have been there in the past for a curling event, actually. Neat little province. Steve-O coming with some parking lot heat here, running his guard back, and he runs it past everything. Uh-oh.
Looks like Team Gamble and Kalthoff are sitting 1 at the back of the forefoot.
Steve looking to move some things around there, and it just slips by everything in the rings, giving Dustin the opportunity to throw up a guard and put some heat on this Leichlong Martin combo here.
I see in the chat here your teammate Braden said never give Chris nickname material. He makes them stick, and that is truer words have never been spoken.
You know, sometimes you can give me the nicknames, but in Braden's case, sometimes old Braden Breckheim gives himself the nicknames. Rick Edwards tuning in here. He's drinking a few cold IPAs. Says they're going down smooth here while he's following the Scotties, the Gold Line Mixed Doubles in Montreal, the World Juniors in Finland, and of course, the Saskatchewan Mixed Doubles Provincial Final here in Swift Current.
A buffet of curling on this weekend. As you mentioned, the Scotties are just going on, and just a short hop, skip, and a jump from Swift Current there on the highway in Calgary, where Scotties are going on as we speak, with Skylar Ackerman as the Saskatchewan women's representative.
There's a chance you might see Steve swapping some rocks out here shortly. He's overcurled a couple times with that stone. I think he was trying to get by that guard. I got to take a little closer look at his delivery, but there's a chance that stone is curling a little hard on him. Dusty looking to replace that guard. Lying one at the back of the button.
Which means we're going to have a new champions this year as the defending champions team, Bukarek, and lost out in the playoffs. And the provincial runners-up in this event last year also lost out in the playoffs, and that was Team Kleider. So we'll have a new mixed double provincial champion here at the conclusion of this game.
Right, and then it's neat how they qualify teams for the national. I do know it's kind of like the Briars and the Scotties, where there are some wild card teams that pre-qualify for the national event. Teams like Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang, I believe, are already in. Kirk Myers and Laura, is it Walker or Crocker or both?
Laura Walker, I believe.
Laura Walker, I believe, right. So I believe they're pre-qualified. Many know Kirk Myers from his days curling with Steve and dominating the men's scene here in Saskatchewan. But I believe Steve, Laycock, and Nancy Martin have already pre-qualified for the Nationals as well. So they're working hard to win this provincial title and get the honor of being able to wear the green and white jacket while they're there.
I should mention, you mentioned those three top mixed doubles teams. Well, there's a mixed doubles super series that travels across Canada, and mixed doubles has their own tour. So it just speaks to the explosion of the mixed doubles discipline.
You know, I tell you what, after watching the curling here at our curling club all week, I think this is certainly something that would be fun to try. You definitely have to be athletic, so I have that going against me. It looks like it's a sport for the younger folk. I've got that against me. But Steve Laycock's follically challenged, and so am I. So there's a chance. There's still hope for me in this game yet.
So we're in the second in here of the mixed doubles provincials, and it's the last stone for Team Gamble and Kalthoff.
Sissy and the Duke here with their last rock, looking to keep the heat on here in the second end.
It looks like they are content to go for a steal and steal a one, but are they coming right in the house? Yes, they are. And did they get enough for a second shot there? I think they did.
I believe they did. Yellow line 2 here. And Nancy Martin is in a world of hurt. There is enough curl if you have the right weight to hair by that guard and possibly roll in for shot rock. But Sissy and the Duke have come out strong here in this provincial final.
And yes, we have seen enough curl for this shot already. I know I was with you, Chris, for the C qualifiers, and I saw a similar setup there with Madison Kleider, who drew for the win and behind a guard in that similar spot, and there was enough curl that she could curl in to get the inside there. So there is definitely enough curl at the Swift Current Club to accomplish this shot.
Head ice technician Jason Broughton was adamant that he wanted to touch our curling stoves up before this championship event. But due to the fact that the curling club manager keeps a tight, close, watchful eye on the budget, he was not allowing him to go out buy some sandpaper to give these rocks a little bit of a conditioning. So we decided to go with what we had. I know Jason would have liked a little more curl, as we typically normally have. Nancy with a pistol coming here, needs to get a roll inside to score a point. Weight was perfect, but just didn't quite get the curl. It will be a steal of 1, maybe 2 after the dust settles here in the second end.
They're having a look. I'm not sure what they decided on. I guess we will see the score when it's marked up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Langs drinking Pilsners. We got Rick Edwards drinking IPAs. I'm on another Original 16. Head to the fridge, grab yourself a beverage, and we'll be right back to catch this provincial final action here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet. And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrient Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Folks, we are back. Team Laycock Martin with the hammer here in the third end. Typically, you don't see the power play used quite this early, but something's got to give, something's got to change, and Team Laycock has decided to use the power play here in the third end. Excellent shot by Sissy there. You aren't allowed to remove any rocks from play for the first 4 or 5 stones, but you can certainly move them around, and they get rid of that guard there, which was an excellent shot by Christie Gamble.
We found out during the break that the Gamble and Kalthoff twosome stole 1 there in the second end, and they're now up 3-0.
Stevie with a heavy scrub trying to get that guard to curl to protect their back one. Doesn't quite curl up enough, but the Kalthoff Gamble team cannot hit anything yet. You see only 4 rocks in play there, and there needs to be 1 more stone thrown before they can start hitting. So they are electing to play an out-turn draw around that guard in hopes to lie shot rock.
Yes, as you mentioned, Chris, we don't typically see power plays in the first half of the game, but I think if you're the team, Nancy Martin, Laycock, they're looking for a little bit of momentum swing here.
Yeah, something had to give, that's for sure. The first 2 ends didn't go according to their plan, so they're trying to mix things up a little bit in hopes to score a couple here and get back in this ball game. It looks like that. Yeah,
so Dustin. I was just sorry, Chris. I was just going to mention that's the beauty of the mixed doubles games, that although Team Dukabor, Kalthoff, and Gamble are up 3-0, this game is far from over.
That's for sure. You can see there. It looks like Dusty has come to play, making several great shots here so far in this game. These 2 teams met up in the A semifinal, and Dustin the Duke and Sissy were up 5 points in the latter half of the game. And I kid you not, folks, Steve Lacelong and Nancy Martin took 6 points, scored a 6-ender. That's the equivalent to an 8-ender in 4-person curling. They made a score of 6 when they were down 5 and picked up the win against this exact team. So I don't think you're going to see Steve or Nancy get concerned until they're down more than 5 points, because they know 6-enders are aplenty out here.
I should mention that game you mentioned, the Steve Laycock and Nancy Martin won that game 12-9, so very high scoring.
You know, I've said it before and I've said it again. Steve's racked 3 times now with that exact same rock. Quite possibly he's got a cutter.
Cole Tenachuk was talking on the chat here that he says when he's fascinated with these couples that play the mixed doubles game, and that it could be a recipe for divorce. What do you think about that, Chris? The fact that a lot of couples play this game and they're able to stay together.
You know, before this event started, we had a social for all the curlers upstairs in the original 16 Swift Current patch. And we had a game of Cool Shots curling tournament. And all the teams participated in this. It was a pile of fun. And I had front row seats to Jill Springer and Garrett, the big unit Springer, as they competed in their Cool Shots tournament. And I could have sworn you were going to see a divorce in the making upstairs on the Cool Shots tables before the even on ice action began. It was great to watch, but you know what? They hung in there. They resolved all their issues, and they made it all the way to the semifinals here in Swift Current. Thank you, Trevor, for keeping us updated with the Curling Zone chat. And I see Sunny chimed in. You want to pass along what Sunny has to say?
Well, Sunny, yeah, she says Steve was in the store a few weeks ago buying some mushrooms. I'm not sure what kind of mushrooms, but she hopes we didn't jinx him when we finished him luck at Provincials.
Oh, sorry, folks. I'm back here. I accidentally muted my microphone for a sec. I am back, and I'm with you. And the crowd is starting to flood in here in Swift Current. The seats are filling up, downstairs and upstairs. Gamble Kalthoff with a 3-0 lead over Martin Laycock here playing the third end. The Duke here looking at splitting the rings and trying to play a freeze on that red one over there. He just doesn't seem to be getting the curl.
Yeah, this one looks a little heavy. Steve's ready to sweep it behind the tee line. So those it stands right now, not too bad for the Martin Laycock rink because you're sitting second and third. Nancy Martin, she's a seasoned curler in her own right, but she has played with Sherry Anderson, and Sherry made some news this past week as she's going to be inducted into the Canadian Curling Hall of Fame in Regina at the Briar at the beginning of March. So congrats to Sherry.
And how deserving is that shooter? Sherry has been one of Saskatchewan's top female curlers for decades on decades, winning numerous provincial women's titles, provincial senior women's titles, even national senior titles as well. So they were an absolute force to be reckoned with. Her team of Anita Silvernagel, Brenda Gortson, Patty Hersekorn, and Sherry Anderson. So congratulations to them for sure. And Saskatchewan is very proud of you.
So last shot here, the third end for the team at Gamble Kalthoff, and are they looking for a double here, Chris, or is there actually a triple there?
You know what? The Duke's going to have a close look here. I do not think there's a triple. The only way to make the triple is if you hit that first red over the top of that second red. So you're looking at a thin quarter, but extremely risky. Good chance you give up 3 if you don't make this perfect. I think they are committed to giving this a rip. Sissy's going to head on down to the other end. The Duke's going to eye up the angles here. And Sissy has been curling so good all week. You're going to have to expect she's going to be real close on this one there, shooter.
Yeah, Sissy and Dustin were playing most of the day yesterday when Team Martin Laycock were resting. So they've seen these ice conditions quite a bit more.
Need some curl here if they want to make a few Reds disappear. And it won't quite come up. It leaves the Laycock Martin team lying 2 with hammer and drawing for 3 points to tie this game up. And Shooter, I think they got exactly what they wanted from this power play here in this end.
Well, yeah, it's a very successful power play, and it good move by the team Martin Laycock to use it so early, and it's given them a little bit of momentum boost here when they needed it.
I'd like to thank Trevor for keeping us up to date on the chat and reading some of the responses word for word for us. It's nice to know where our viewers are chiming in from. Let us know. Comment on the Curling Zone chat forum. We want to know where you're watching from, and feel free to ask us some questions. Lay socket here on the brush heavily. They need a piece of the 8-foot to score 3. He's going pillar to post on this one. It would be detrimental to come up light. But if I know Nancy Martin, she's as cool as a cucumber. Sliding this one into the top 4 and scoring 3 points.
We got a tie ball game.
Shooter, she's 3-3. Folks, we have much more action still to come. Please go top up your bevies. Chat in the chat site, and we will see you after Steve waddles to the other end. And we have this short commercial break.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
At PharmaSave, we see you and we care for prescriptions for common conditions, expert health advice, or support for life's little mishaps. Come talk to your PharmaSave pharmacist.
Live well with PharmaSave.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
Yeah. Folks, we're back. We just zipped upstairs to the Original 16 patch here at the Swift Current Curling Club. Topped up my Great Western Light. You have to know the Langs in Regina have all topped up their schnurs. My man Rick Edwards, you know he's bearing back some cold IPAs. Wendy from Montana, scrolling back up, you asked me a question. It was about the power of advertising. What is this clever contraption? Air Systems. So, S3 Manufacturing, S3 Group here in Swift Current is one of the largest manufacturing companies in southwest Saskatchewan. They make farm equipment and implements, specializing in air springs, conveyors, whole lot of things that they make right here in Swift Current. They have been the title sponsor for the Swift Current Curling Club for, this is the second, going on 3 years. Excellent partners. We thank them for all the work they do in this community and for partnering with the Swift Current Curling Club. Tied 3-3, Gamble Kalthoff with the brick. Not the Buka brick, but the brick here in the fourth end.
So we've got some fans flooding in there in the Swift Current Curling Club to watch this provincial mixed doubles final.
I got my girl Roxanne there on the left, my boy Bud Budverson, and the young chap on the edge of his seat in the middle there. That is Colin Powers. He's a disc jockey and radio announcer for one of the local radio stations here in town, and I can assure you he will be on the ice post-game to congratulate and interview the champions that come out victorious here in this game.
So here we have another Steve rock here over curl.
Well, that's 4 for 4 racks with that rock. If you're a coach, you maybe want to address that, but certainly Steve is well aware of what that rock's doing. There's a good chance he dumps it after this end.
We should mention to the folks at home that you are the general manager of the Swift Current Club, and you have these cameras installed in the curling club year round. And what has it changed for the Swift Current Club to have these cameras mounted in the rink to broadcast these events?
Yeah, so we have over 30 high definition pan tilt zoom cameras installed throughout the Swift Current Curling Club, with 4 and 5 cameras dedicated to per sheet. Making sure we have not froze up here. It appears we have froze, but I'll keep babbling in case our viewers can still hear. Curling Stadium in the Swift Current Curling Club. Our club was one of the first worldwide to put this camera system throughout the facility. And it has done wonders for us with regards to being able to broadcast every rock, every game, all season long, out to the viewers who want to tune in and watch. Whether it's Monday night Beer League Curling, Wednesday night Open League, the prestigious Thursday night Super League. Oh, pistol by Laycock getting that rock by, but a hair too heavy. Curling Stadium, make your club the next Curling Stadium. Reach out to Curling Zone folks and learn what it'll take to get cameras in your club.
And I should mention, anybody can do play-by-play commentary of curling with Curling Stadium, because I am actually watching this game in Saskatoon with you, Chris, through the magic of the interweb.
That is correct. Always looking for commentators to commentate games. I believe if you're got 2 feet in a heartbeat, Curling Zone will pay you to commentate curling games all across Canada. Reach out to Curling Zone for more information on that. If Shooterbot and I can do it, I'm telling you, anyone can do it. Have a little fun, commentate some curling, make a little side cash.
And producer James is sitting in Martensville producing this game for us as well. So it's a multi-town coverage for this provincial final.
Now, why in the world would anyone want to live in Martensville? That's a little shot at producer James there. He is the ice technician out in Martensville. And they have one heck of a club there with general manager Clint Dino. They have some great ice, great facility. They're in the works of getting some new rocks. They just got new lighting. Martensville is happening, folks. If you've never been there, head on out there. Duke aboard with the out-turn hit. Looking to clean some reds up.
Throwing some parking lot weight. Oh, what a nice shot from Mr. Kalthoff that leaves him sitting 4.
Duke and Sissy line 4 here with Hammer, with only 2 rocks remaining. You have to believe it's about time to start getting a little bit concerned if you're the Martin lay pipe tandem.
Would you start eliminating some lemons here, Chris, or do you just go all out and maybe play a freeze on that back for yellow rock?
Me personally, I'm a defensive, play safe kind of guy. I'm playing that double all day long. maybe even get a triple out of it. Steve's typically uber aggressive. I could see him wanting to play the intern freeze. Kara Zukowicz chimes in and says, hey, now, hiker. Martensville is awesome. And I do agree with her. Martensville is one heck of a town. They have a great curling club. A great little town. If you've never been, you definitely do want to visit the town of Martensville.
And for those that don't know, Martensville is maybe just slightly north of Saskatoon here in the province of Saskatchewan.
Oh, it was crucial for Lay Wrench to remove at least 2 of the lemons out of the rings on that one. And got a little bit lucky, had to hit that a hair thinner, and he still leaves the Duke an opportunity to hit live 4 with hammer here in the 4th end.
Can Dustin eliminate that red one and still stick in the house?
Without question, he's going to come at this with hacked board weight. It looks like ice for board weight. And with half rock, should have no problem removing that red. But you're flirting with Danger Bay here. If it ever curls up to nose and jams, how quickly the landscape of the end can turn. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on the Curling Zone platform, pop on to the chat. Say hi. Let us know where you're watching from. We now know Ms. Zukowicz is tuned in from the lovely town of Martensville.
I should say it's a city, Chris, just for clarification.
Well, when you're as old as I am, and I was just knee-high to a grasshopper growing up, Martensville was a mere town with a population of less than 4,000 people. What is it up to now, Shooter?
I'm not sure myself. We might have to get clarification on that from producer James.
The Duke threw that, I think, how he wanted to, hit the broom, but it looked like it was a pinch too heavy, and he rolls out.
So is that a get-out-of-jail-free card there for Laycock and Martin? They throw the little intern freeze?
A very aggressive shot to play that intern freeze. If you don't make it perfect, it's still a 4-ball. Giving up a 2 isn't the end of the world here, but there's not a real easy double out there for the Lay Pipe Martin tandem. So I believe you're going to see them lock a freeze on and try to completely take this end away from the Duke and Sissy.
Producer James says that the city of Martensville is up to 10,000 people.
Wowzers. Back in the late 80s, when I was helping my old man run his milk route out in Martensville, I'm talking 3,000 to 4,000 at most. So that city has over doubled in size over the past couple decades.
So here comes Nancy with a little intern drug. Gotta freeze this. You gotta freeze this to the back yellow one. You gotta think. But
you know what? Yeah, you're right. When the weight wasn't there, they called the audible and played the cold draw dead buried, and what an absolute pistol that was.
What kind of weight do you think Sissy has to play here, Chris, to move that red one?
You know, they're going to have a good hard look at this. I do believe with how good of ice conditions we have here in Swift Current, if you just feather by that top guard with backline weight, there is an opportunity to make a shot for 4 here. What a momentum swing if the red team could sneak out of this with a steal. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Kennedy, DK, owned a milk route with Charlie Heichert in Martensville back in the late 80s, and his claim was that I never did help my old man on the milk route, but I can assure him there was many a mornings I was up delivering milk. Final shot here in the fourth end for Sissy Gamble. She needs to hair by that guard. The Duke's out to help. We got to get this one to curl. Got to curl. Duke's on it hard, but it does not come up, and it is a steal of one for Layhorn Martin. And wow, what a change of the landscape here in that end. You see that coming, Shooter?
I did not, but that's a big steal for Team Nancy Martin and Steve Laycock.
Definitely a big steal as we go into the fourth end break, folks. We'll be back after several of these commercials I'm sure you've seen time and time again.
New at Asham. Take your game to the next level with the Gushu Ultra Light. Equipped with our world-famous rotator disc system that attaches by Velcro, quickly and easily upgrade and replace your sliding platform. Check out our website at asham.com.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
This isn't just a beer. This is a double-aged, never-back-down, full-of-heart Western beer. This is a beer brewed by 16 guys who risked it all. Original 16. Underdogs since 1989.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good, and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
Welcome back, everyone. We are in the fourth end break here at the Provincial Mixed Doubles Final, and you're looking at the hardware that are up for grabs. It is a score of 4-3 for Team Martin Laycock over Team Gamble and Kalthoff. We're watching this live from the Swift Current Curling Club in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. The fourth end break resumes and moves on. We will be back for the second half of the match right after this.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
We feed the world with nutrient, and a large portion of what our job is to get fertilizer out with the carriers so they can get directed to the farms or to the different retail locations. We know that if we don't have the answer to something, we're not afraid to reach out because we have support from everyone. We've got a really good team behind us.
Viterra's world-leading, fully integrated agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply sustainable, traceable, and quality-controlled agricultural products. We'd like to recognize Viterra's ongoing support to curling in Saskatchewan through funding youth and school clinics, as well as other programs, and of course, the Women's Provincial Championship. Thank you, Viterra, for everything you've done and continue to do for curling in Saskatchewan.
New at Asham, the Helix Flyknit and Express Ultralight, featuring our rotator disc system that attaches by Velcro. Quickly and easily upgrade and replace your sliding platform. Check out our website at asham.com.
Hi, I'm Shannon and we're here at the brand new Bike Tricks electric bike showroom in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's grand opening, so we're gonna head inside and talk to some Bike Tricks customers. Let's go.
I chose Bike Tricks because of the reputation. I know people who have Bike Tricks bikes, and I know that it's a local company, which I like to support local. They're great bikes.
Come down and see the team here. They're really a great team of people. Check out the bikes, go for a ride.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan for the 2024 Curl Sask Provincial Mixed Doubles Curling Championships. This is the final game of what has been an absolute spirited weekend of excellent curling, great camaraderie. We have Nancy Martin and Steve Laycock with a 4-3 lead over Dustin Kalthoff and Christie Gamble here in the fifth end of play, and Christie and Dusty appear to be using their power play here.
Just updating everybody on how the playoffs went here at the Provincial Mixed Doubles Championship. We had the quarterfinals last night, and that was Team Kleider beating Team Barber Heights 7-4, and then the other quarterfinal had this Gamble Kalthoff team beating Team Bucarac 12-3, and then we had the semifinals this morning where Team Martin Laycock beat the Team Kleider 7-5, as well as this morning at 9 a.m. there was the other semifinal where Team Gamble Kalthoff beat Team Springer 6-3, and that's where we come to today. With us, as they say, there's only two.
She's power play time here for Gamble Kalthoff. You know, I want to thank all the viewers for tuning in that are watching right now. I know many of you have thrown me shout outs and got a good chuckle at some of our commentary throughout the weekend. I apologize to anybody that we've offended. This has all been in good fun to make curling fun, make curling interested, and lots of the times it ends up being at a lot of the curlers' expenses. But everybody's been really good sports. We are definitely having some fun with this. We are just glad that we can bring you curling right to your personal device, tablet, no matter where you are, inside your house, sitting on the throne, or even like my boy Colt, the Ukrainian Tenichuik, driving on Highway 4 back north to North Battleford while he tunes in and watches this final action here.
What do you think about Chris, Team Gamble Kalthoff using their power play when it's still just a 1-point game?
You know, of all these games I've watched, every power play has been taken in the latter half of the game. So quite interesting to see these power plays being used so early in the game. Laycock in the third end, the Duke here in the fifth end. Folks, we've come up with some great nicknames for all these great athletes and great sports all throughout this week. And into this final game, we got the Layslong, we got the Dukabor, we got Sissy, but I do not have a nickname for Nancy Martin yet. If y'all could give me a hand and either text or type in the group chat what a great, fun, friendly nickname for Nancy Martin could be, we'd love to get it on air here as we have some good old-fashioned fun at these curlers' expenses.
I'd be remiss, Chris, if we saw the great Sandra Schmerler there in the fourth end commercial break. And today at the Scotties, it is Sandra Schmerler Telethon Day, where you can donate to her foundation. So if you have the cash available, please donate to a great great person and great foundation today at the Scotties for the Sandra Schmerler Day. A legend of Saskatchewan curling.
Oh, that's for sure. And you make an excellent point. And in addition to that, Dustin Kalthoff, who owns Auto Connection in Saskatoon, Dustin has pledged to give 100% of the proceeds to anyone that buys a VIP package at his store for some, I believe that's for tire repairs, window repairs, mechanical work. You buy this package and 100% of the proceeds he is donating to the Sandra Schmerler Foundation. I'd like to thank Dustin for doing that, and also thank him and Auto Connection for all they do partnering with curling here in Saskatchewan. I know he fully supports the Scotties and the Tankard as well, so thank you to him and Auto Connection.
Dustin throwing their little intern draw there to the top 12. They're now sitting 2. No double there, so Team Martin Laycock are looking to maybe hit and roll under.
Shooter, do you ever just hit that back one that Nancy's suggesting and roll underneath that yellow one? I think that's what they've decided to play, is it not?
Yes, I believe it is. I think that with no double there, that is only the only move that can be done, and I think he's maybe throwing a little bumper shot here, old Steve, and trying to roll under cover.
Well, keep in mind, Lay Pipe has overcurled with this rock several times so far. So let's see what this rock does coming into the rings.
Gets a little bit of flip, still sees a Dustin and Sissy can still see about 3/4 of that red rock.
Lay Shroom was able to get a little piece of that red one tucked underneath the yellow, but it is still exposed for the Duke to hit and roll away.
As you mentioned, these two teams are competing to go to the Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Championships. It's going to be happening later on in March in New Brunswick at the Aitken University Center and the Capital Winter Club, March 17th to the 22nd.
Yes, I'm well aware of that, but my memory's a little foggy. What city is that being held in New Brunswick there, Shooter?
Fredericton.
Ah, yes, Fredericton. I've heard of that before.
So shout out to any of the Atlantic Canada friends who may be tuning in this afternoon.
We did have some from Sydney, Nova Scotia tuning in before. Uh-oh, the Duke on this one to make it curl. He's got to stick around if possible. Old Stevo on the brush. He successfully rolls that out. And that will give Nancy a wide open hit at this one, which I don't think the Duke and Sissy mind, as they'll be rolling into the open, and it will leave the opportunity to blank the end and keep the hammer coming home in the sixth and even end.
Still, though, Chris, not a successful power play for Sissy and Kalthoff, as not compared to the third end where Team Martin Laycock used their power play and were able to generate a 3 points. So they used their power play this end. It's not going to be successful, but at least to the sixth end, they could take the last rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed by producer James that in mixed doubles curling, if you blank an end, the hammer flip-flops. So you lose hammer if you blank the end. So I believe you're going to see Sissy playing the in-turn draw to the button for 1 point here in the 5th end. Thank you, Producer James, for that update. Again, with full disclosure, I have no sniff on all the intricacies and rules here of the mixed doubles curling. I am simply here because they told me I had a great face for commentating.
So here we go, Sissy throwing a little in-turn draw to tie this ball game up after 5 ends.
Folks, we got the Duke on the brush. Sissy calling line. He gently massages and caresses this stone into the top of the 8-foot, and it's 1 point for Dustin Kalthoff and Christie Gamble here in the 5th end. We're all knotted up at 4, folks. Again, we'll watch Steve make his annual end waddle down to the other end, and we will go to commercial.
There's no doubt running any kind of farm comes with day-to-day challenges. We built a new facility 2 years ago. Technology has totally revolutionized dairy farming. Sask Milk gives us the tools to provide high quality standard of milk, making sure our equipment is all well taken care of, make sure that those animals are housed and cared for appropriately. They continue to push us with their standards to make sure that it just gets better and better.
New at Asham. Whether you're in the hack or kicking back, live it in style in the new Throwin' Stones line exclusively by Asham. Curling is more than a sport, it's a lifestyle. Check out our website at asham.com.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. Everyone wins.
Folks, we're back. And there's one thing certain, and it's the young fella in the back is enjoying the curling game. Certainly he's got to be watching it on his iPhone while he watches it live, too.
That's a safe assumption. We're back here with the 6th end, all tied up for the Provincial Mixed Doubles Championship final here at the Swift Current Curling Club in Swift Current, Saskatchewan in the southwest.
Christie Gamble with the in-turn freeze, and she makes no mistake. Puts a pistol freeze on that red one. Steve with a hop and a waddle back down to the other end to sweep Nancy Martin's rock. We still haven't come up with a nickname for Nancy Martin. I'm reaching out to you, the viewers, to help me with this one. It was her birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Nancy, the birthday girl.
Last end, Chris, we mentioned the any viewers to be watching in Atlantic Canada. Well, we do have one in particular who chimed in on the chat. Hello to Georgette Sparks. She says, love the commentary, still watching from Sydney. So hello to our friends in Halifax. I heard they got a big snowstorm there recently, so hopefully they're done shoveling.
Folks, I believe Shooterbot is going through a little bit of a snowstorm here himself. Bear with us while we figure out the technical difficulties from Shooterbot, but some excellent shot making here by Nancy Martin as she absolutely glues that freeze on. And the Duke board tries to follow it up with an in-turn as well. Folks, I think we're in for a ring-a-ding-dandy this end. You know, those were 3 perfect shots just made. The Women's Worlds will be held in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Teresa wondering if Georgette will be going. Amanda Lowen saying, good afternoon from Altona, Manitoilet. So we'd like to say hi to all our viewers from Manitoba here. Thank you for tuning in, watching the 2024 Provincial Mixed Doubles Final. Amanda, is it true that Justin Trudeau is contemplating changing the name of Manitoba to Peopletoba? Just a rumor I had heard.
Well, I'm back, Chris. I had some gremlins, internet gremlins here, but I'm happy to be back with you.
What you've missed there, Shooter, was some excellent shot making. We've seen 3 back-to-back-to-back jack freezes made absolutely perfect. Red is shot rock on the pinhole without hammer. And the Duke will have some work to free that red and get it out of there, because as it stands, it'll be a couple 2-3 shots or a stick of dynamite to get that cherry off the button.
I hear there's going to be a cool shots competition coming up at the Briar.
That is correct, folks. Draw your attention to the screen. That rocky Ukrainian Andrew Kowalski, who's known so well on social media, give him a follow if you want all the inside scoop on all the curlers across Canada. Chris Heichert and the Uke will be pairing up to participate at the Briar in Regina March 6th and 9th in the Cool Shots tournament. $10,000 up for grabs. There's still entries to be had. Go to coolshots.ca, enter your team, and hopefully you can play myself and the Uke at the Briar here March 3rd to 10th in Regina, the city that happens to rhyme with fun. Regina's Chamber of Commerce, I believe it was, did they not just recently try to really rebrand, and they really pushed the city that rhymes with fun slogan? And how did that turn out, Shooter?
I don't think it turned out too well, but that's where the Regina's Briar is going to be held in Regina, and we look forward to that at the Brant Center at the start of March.
What happened to that rock there?
I'm not sure, Chris. I'm not sure if that was his intention to throw a guard, but or if they're just conceding a one already in this end, because might need a stick of dynamite to get that red rock off the forefoot at this point. But something may have happened to that rock. We don't know for sure. We can't hear what the colors are saying, but
certainly if you were trying to come into the rings, that would be a Duca brick. Steve-O with that famous in-out turn. Jumps up before he lets the rock go to go pillar to post on this one. Needs to get by the guard. And he's by no problem. Now, can he get it to the rings? What a pistol he had shaping up there. He could have brought that right into his own red rock. But I think you nailed it there, Shooter. I think Sissy and the Duke are more than happy to give red one, because there is no way out of this disaster.
we saw Steve sweeping there, Chris, and you have played with Steve, and school of thought is that skips aren't usually good at sweeping, but Steve is a good sweeper in his own right, is he not?
Oh, certainly is. Just ask him; he'll tell you. No, giving him a rough time. Tell you what, Steve is one of the stronger sweepers as far as skips go. That's for sure. We often give him compliments. His T-line back sweeping is as good as any out there. Steve's definitely a strong fella.
So if you're Team Martin Laycock, how do you get 2 here?
Well, Gamble has the handle, do they not?
Yes, they do. You're correct.
Well, I typically am there, Shooter. I typically am.
So do you want to mess with this too much if you're Team Laycock, or just protect this steal all the way to the end of the 6th end?
Yeah, it's funny to see two teams with the same game plan this end, both trying to protect that steal of 1. Oh, we see a timeout called. The first of 2 for Lay Wrench and Nancy Martin. Folks, I still don't have a fun nickname for Nancy Martin other than birthday girl here this weekend. Wouldn't winning this game be a nice little birthday present for her? There's a nice panoramic view of the Swift Current Curling Club. All 6 sheets of ice.
As producer James shows us a shot at the hardware that these two teams are playing for. Those are the green jackets that everybody covets playing in Saskatchewan, and we'll see the presentation at the end of this match.
No, folks. Good friend of mine, Bruce Dagg, just chimed in and told me that Martin and Laycock, in fact, do have the hammer. So that whole taking one last end and not blanking has kind of thrown you and I for a loop here, Shooter. But, no one ever claimed that you and I were the brightest. That's for sure.
So really you can say I was correct.
That is true. You were correct. I was not wrong, however. I was only merely mistaken. Well, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. Sissy heading to the other end to throw her rock. Folks, we've had a few people chime in. How about Pansy Martin for Nancy Martin, or Teresa from down in Montana going with Salt and Pepper? I'm old enough. I know who Salt and Pepper the band was. Not sure if any of you in the chat are old enough to know who Scary Spice and the ladies were, but let me tell you, don't go chasing waterfalls. Or was that TLC?
That was TLC.
All right. Once again, I'm mistaken.
Hello to Kerry Tarasoff, who is a curler in his own right. I believe he just won the Provincial Masters Championship there in Lloydminster, if I'm not mistaken.
Masters? Oh, how old you got to be in that?
I'm not sure. I can't count that high, Chris.
Sissy playing the intern guard here. How many guards does one team need? My goodness. Guard on a guard on a guard on a guard.
So they're looking at a possible shot for 2. Can you chip that red one? Do you see enough of that red one to chip enough of it to get that top 4-foot yellow off for a 2 spot? But even then, I think the one in the back, they decide they're just going to take the one and move on.
Old Stevie has had enough, but the Duke board don't look happy. Folks, we have some controversy here in Swift Current, Saskatchewan Provincial Mixed Doubles Final. The Duke wondering why Stevie Layrench is pumping rocks into the corner, and rocks are still yet to come. Folks, this could be Swift Current Gate. I'm going to need to take a commercial break to sort this all out. We'll be back right after this quick break.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
Well, folks, we're back here at Curling Gate. I think calmer and cooler heads have prevailed. This is me just trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here. But Martin and Laycock decide to boot rocks into the corner and take their 1 point last end. And they will take a 5-4 lead going into the seventh end.
Yes, I think they decided that there was just absolutely no shot for two there, so they decided to just take their one and move on. It's now a 5-4 score, as you mentioned, for Team Martin Laycock in the seventh end of the Provincial Mixed Doubles Provincial Championship Final.
Once again, for our viewers, Shooter, what city will the winner of this go to represent the green and white?
Fredericton.
We've got that figured out, don't we?
We do.
Holy moly. And as most ends start out, it's a race to the top of that 4 foot. And with 3 shots thrown, we have 4 rocks in the 4 foot. And she's game on here in Swift Current.
That is a busy 4 foot.
I'd like to say a great big thank you to all the curlers and athletes that came to Swift Current to compete in the 2024 Provincial Mixed Doubles. A lot of fun had by all. The teams were upstairs socializing, enjoying some cold bevies, having a good old time. Good old-fashioned Saskatchewan curling. Thank you for coming down and putting a show on here for everybody.
We started with 19 teams here in this bonspiel, and now we're down to 2.
So Mitch Height is just chiming in with a few potential nicknames that we could go with. Pansy Martin, though, from Kerry Tarasoff. Got to be a story behind that. I would love to hear it.
So I got old eyes, Chris, and you may have as well. But is red sitting 2 or just 1?
Red is only lying 1 on the back of the button. Second shot, I believe, belongs to yellow at the back. What is old Stevie looking to do here? A little tap back? Tap freeze, maybe. Or just the straight freeze is a great shot. I think that's what Steve's electing to do. Wonder if he swapped those rocks up or if he's still pitching this cutter.
Yes, and maybe curl a little bit more than he wanted to, I think. I don't think he wanted to hit the top 4 foot yellow first.
I believe the call was actually just a straight freeze, and line was absolutely perfect for it, but he was 3-4 feet heavy. This gives the Duke an opportunity to blast a few rocks out of there here with Hammer in the 7th end. Coming at you with parking lot weight. The Duke's up, and he's on his own rock, folks. Can he hold it? That, my friends, was a pistol. You know, I don't think that shot was there unless the Duke got up and gave it those 2 brush strokes.
So it's like Team Martin Laycock are looking to eliminate a couple lemons here, because that is now a lonely red stone, as Team Sissy and Kalthoff have hammer in this end.
That's for sure. Pansy Martin and Steve Laysocket going to look to remove a couple yellow stones from play here, with the goal of potentially lying 2 reds buried at the top of the 4-foot here in the 7th. Kerry Tarasoff, if you're listening, please put this in my curriculum. CI, what's that stand for? We'll go resume. Put these announcement games on my resume, and you let Sean Joyce know I'm coming for him. Kerry Tarasoff, who runs the the Real Cast streaming. And he streams all the provincial Scotties and provincial tankard games, and what a wonderful job he does with that. Putting it out on live stream platforms and on SaskTel Max. It's excellent, the coverage he's able to give to curling here in Saskatchewan.
I'd second that notion, Chris. I'd put his broadcast up in the top echelon there of all the provincial curling associations. So well done, Kerry, for all your excellent curling coverage.
Funny story here for you. I sat down with Kerry and his team of Kim Hodson, Susan Lang, Sean Joyce, Heather Walsh up in Saskatoon at the tankard, and we were tipping a few drinks back, and I offered to buy every single one of them a drink. So the lady came by, and I said, just put it on my team's tab, please. And our team was going to pick up the tab for that. Little did I know the team had closed the tab several minutes before. So by the time we headed on out south of town to the Dakota Dunes to test our luck, I got a message saying, thanks for the round that you never bought us. So I felt bad about that one, but surely I can let those folks know that I will make good on that round, and we will have a beverage here one of these days when we're back all together.
So Team Gamble Kalthoff are sitting 3 with hammers, so Martin Laycock contemplating what they're going to do. Are they going to throw a double? Are they going to throw a... We are not sure.
Well, I think giving up 2 is fine. Giving up 3 could be disaster. So definitely need to take that into consideration.
Not an easy double there, is there? Because with one sitting behind the guard, partially behind the guard.
Nancy Martin with the out-turn draw here. Steve's got the split time. Into the pocket it goes, and he goes down to give this a little bit of a cleaning. Going with the Eugene Hritzik method of corner sweeping. If you want to know about it, just ask Eugene. He would love to tell you his theories. Needing to lock this freeze on in the back, or we could be dangerously... Whew! She got a little rub as she was wide and heavy. And she took a little rub. They called the audible, got the rub and roll frozen, and it leaves the Duke with his hand in the pocket wondering what does a guy have to do to get a miss out of this Laycock Martin team.
Well, that was a nice audible, wasn't it, Chris? Because I think if she was a little heavy there, so if they miss that lemon that you're seeing in the left-hand side of the screen, I think she goes to the back 12, didn't she?
Well, they were starting to clear women and children out of the way from the back, so it definitely had plenty of weight. So There was no option. It was tick or bust on that one, and they called it perfectly. You know, shots like that where you have to go to plan B, having experience helps make those calls mid-shot. And I tell you what, there is a lot of experience amongst them two standing in the back of this sheet right now.
So it looks like team in the last shot here in the 7th end, looks like Team Gamble and Kalthoff are electing for a little intern tap, are they?
Well, I think that's ice for a lot more weight than I would be playing this with. You can easily make this shot with poured weight. The key is to try to get to 7/8 of that yellow rock, if possible. I'm almost certain she's going to come at this with a little bit too much weight, hit her a little too thin, roll out, and a steal of one for the red. That will be my prediction, folks.
Here comes last shot, 7th end.
Oh, it looks good, folks. What a pistol from Sissy Gamble, folks. It's a 3-ball here in the 7th end of play. Let's see that on replay. Sissy with the throw. Sissy with the sweep. Gets by the guard. Down up, folks. 1, 2, 3. And a commanding 7-5 lead. As we go into break, folks, I'm on the edge of my seat. We'll see you back here soon.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
When we were first looking at these e-bikes, I read the reviews. What they talked about was an e-bike grin, and I had no idea what an e-bike grin was, but the first time I powered that bike up, I had the biggest smile on my face. It was unbelievable, because unless you own one or have driven one, you really have no idea what that feeling is like. It's hard to describe.
Back. Folks, we are back here for the 8th end of action here at the 2024 Provincial Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. I don't know if you folks were tuned in for that last shot, but what an amazing shot by Sissy Gamble for a 3-ender here in the 7th end to take a commanding 7-5 juggernaut stranglehold over Martin and Laycock here in the 8th end.
Yeah, what a good shot that was from Sissy Gamble, and I think we both didn't see that there was a chance for 3 there, and she just threw just enough weight to make it happen. And I'm just wanting to ask you, Chris, have you calmed down? Is your heart rate back to normal?
My goodness, I would like to see that shot again. What an absolute pistol by old Sissy there with that shot for 3. And the best part about it, and if old producer James can get us that replay, love the reaction out of Sissy there in the corner after she made that shot. Folks, Sonny, that pointed out where Steve likes to shop for his vegetables, chimes in on the chat and says, Nancy is a fighter. Just call her Rocky. You got Rocky and Cocky out there, Sonny says. So we'll go with that. You know Nancy and Steve are veterans, and they will fight back here in this 8th end. We are in for a ring-a-ding-dandy of a finish. Producer James is killing me. The guy can only request so many times to show me that replay again. Geez, that had me on the absolute edge of my seat. There was never a doubt in my mind Sissy was going to make that shot. Now, was there, Shooter?
Well, there was a little bit of doubt because we didn't see the chance for 3 there. We thought that was just a chance for 2, but she just threw just enough weight to make a 3-ball happen. So credit to Sissy Campbell.
No, I knew right from the start she was going to make that. I never once thought there would be a chance she'd be a little wide, a little heavy, and overthrow that, and a steal of 1 for the Reds. So.
Well, Steve, with a little freeze attempt there, comes up a little bit heavy.
Speaking of heavy, I've been living at the rink this whole week, watching this action, eating rink burgers and French fries, and not exactly watching my caloric intake, one might say, Shooter.
Well, the diet can start on Monday.
It always does for me, my friend. It always starts tomorrow. Dukebor's down here assessing the situation.
They need a deuce here to keep this final going. What would you play here, Chris?
Well, it's funny you should ask me because I'll have you know I have never, ever missed a shot while commentating.
Right.
And what would I play here? Well, there's plenty of reds in there, and lots of reds accumulating is not a good thing when you're trying to force the other team to 1. But it appears they're going to play an in-turn draw to the top of the 8-foot/4-foot.
Just a note for everyone to make sure to stick around for the end of the game, as producer James promises us that he will show the trophy presentation.
Well, he certainly won't show me the replay of that magnificent shot from Sissy. But yes, you are correct. We will be giving a trophy presentation immediately following the commercials after this game. Please stay tuned. And as we congratulate Saskatchewan's newest provincial champions. That was plenty of ice, so I'm not sure the Duke is looking to fully come around or potentially just guarding that shot rock.
Does that surprise you a little bit, Chris? Like, you could maybe try and draw in and sit 2, but what's the reasoning here, you think?
Well, here's what surprises me. Right now, old Laycock's got a double and possibly roll into the rings. You clear both those off, that is one lonely yellow rock in the rings with those 3 reds in the back. I think Steve is going to elect to get 1 more red into the rings, so he'll play that out-turn draw freeze. Crowd is on the edge of their seat, behind the sheets. Folks, I'd like to thank you for tuning in on the Curl Sask YouTube feed, the Curling Zone channel, and the Swift Current Curling Club's YouTube channel. We are glad to bring curling right to your tablet or device, wherever you may be. Cole 10 and 2X got to be heading through Red Pheasant Reserve, I would assume, right about now, just south of North Battleford as he heads back north home.
And you were correct, Chris. Steve elects to draw it in there to get second shot.
Folks, you'll have to rewind this game and watch that great big shot. The best part about it was old Sissy. You watch her shaking her broom after she made that.
Oh, here it comes.
Here it comes, folks. And we got Sissy on the brush. She's curling it over. It gets by. Does she run it back for three? She says, yeah, who do you think you are? Yeah. What a shot by Sissy for three.
That shot got a reaction on the chat, and rightfully so.
Jan Van Gold stating, hey, fellas, awesome commentary. You always make me laugh. Then the next fella writes, yo, boys, do not quit your day jobs. Speaking of day jobs, my good friend Trevor Bothwell, working for the CBC, working hard to bring you the best fake news. Steve's going with this double peel now. This is an important shot. If you don't clear them both off, there might be no shot for two whatsoever. So extremely important shot here coming from old Stevie Layhammer here in the eighth end.
This is Steve's last rock here. Steve's last rock here in the eighth end.
Looking for the double and roll through. Does it roll through? It does, but can he get it in the rings? Excellent shot by Steve, exposing that back yellow, and he has two ways to get at it. Great shot by Steve here in the eighth end. Oh, Pogo making sure she gets some airtime here. Jan Pogo has done an excellent job officiating all week long, keeping all the curlers in line. You know, anytime you have the heights in one of your provincial events, you're going to have your hands full. And Pogo stayed on top of Mitch Height all week long, kept him in check.
Yes, he got eliminated in the quarterfinals yesterday.
We're down to the nitty-gritty here, folks, in this final, potentially final end.
Team Gamble and Kalthoff have been percolating for a while in this shot. What's the smartest play here, Chris? I think right where Dustin just tapped his broom there, they're thinking of playing a corner freeze.
Well, you caught me off guard with that word percolating. I've had 3 or 4 coffees this morning, speaking of percolating. But no, you're right. It does look like he was going to try to plant a corner freeze onto this one. This has to be extremely precise.
Because any chip off the double is there.
For sure, but you will have to navigate those red rocks in the back of the ring. So I don't know currently who this end is favoring at this point in time. Who do you think you are? I am with her intern freeze here. The Duke with a heavy clean for now. She does not want to bounce off of this if possible.
No freeze, but still not a bad result, I think.
Well, I want to think that's an extremely good result, is it not?
It is, because that yellow to back button isn't going anywhere. And team Martin Laycock need a deuce here, so
Steve's first shot was a nose hit with an absolute parking lot missile. If you go straight back and you slice that one over the top, and can that yellow one skinny off that red and out the back is the question. Dukabor says now's a great time to have a banana. You would hate to cramp up if it happens to go extra ends, and like my good buddy Munenori Kawasaki told us, eat bananas so you don't get cramps, because monkeys never cramp. No qualms about it. Dustin's going to bury that banana.
So Team Martin Laycock have called a timeout here, and justifiably so, to talk this one over. They need a deuce to send this game to an extra end.
Look out the... Folks, I can't take it any longer sitting in my chair. I got to come and watch this live and in person.
So there we can see Chris Heichert on camera, our broadcasting cohort.
Front row seats, folks, for this last shot of this game.
Here we go, last shot, 8th end. Nancy Martin needs a deuce to send this to an extra end. Playing the in-off, and it is not going to curl up enough, and that is it. Teams Sissy Gamble and Dustin Kalthoff are your new provincial mixed doubles champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging in there with us. What a blast that was. Dustin, the Dukabor Kalthoff, and Christie, the Sissy Gamble, are your 2024 Saskatchewan Provincial Mixed Doubles Curling Champions. Congratulations to them, folks, and we will cheer them on in a couple weeks in Fredericton, New Brunswick at the Canadian Nationals. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We are going to break to some commercials, but come right back for the trophy presentation, folks. Thank you all for tuning in, and to all a good night.
Hi there, Jim Hale for S3 Air Systems. Today we're going to talk about their new product, UFO Aeration. Here you can see the completed durable powder-coated steel frame construction and the large mega louver design that allows 4 times more airflow than traditional steel louver designs. Here I'm just bolting the stage halves together. You can see how the components lock together with just a counterclockwise twist for different aeration needs, where you can add and remove stages. Just remember that once there's grain in the bin, you can't change how many stages are in it. Please empty the bin before you change the number of stages.
Welcome back, everyone. We were looking live at the Swift Curling Club, where we've just seen our new provincial curling championships declared. It's Team Sissy Gamble and Dustin Kalthoff, who are your new provincial mixed doubles champions. And we're going to stand by for the trophy presentation and the Green Jackets. Excellent shot from Christie Gamble in the last shot in the 7th inning, which really set up this victory. If you have a chance, go see it. And scored a big 3 points there in the 7th inning, which really set them up big time for the 8th inning.
Provincial mixed doubles champions, Christie,
There we go, the Marcher champions.
Kalthoff, congratulations!
Dustin Kalthoff and Christie Campbell are your new provincial mixed doubles champions. The new team Saskatchewan, they're going to go play in New Brunswick in the back half of March here, from March 17th to the 22nd, I believe, and in New Brunswick. The march that every Saskatchewan curler wants, on the way to get your Green Jackets. Dustin and Christie waving to everybody at home. And there we go. The photographers are lining up for the winning shot, and that's your new Team Saskatchewan, the mixed doubles provincial champions. Thank you to Chris Heichert, who joined me on the broadcast today, and producer James in Martensville. Here come the Green Jackets, and I'm Trevor Bothwell in Saskatoon, and we'll go out on this shot. And thank you very much for watching, and have a good rest of your Sunday.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.